Good morning from the balcony. I cannot believe how chilly it is out here. Fall is definitely on its way. But I want to address a question, or a comment rather, that I had on my page about why people move abroad. And a couple people told me lately that I should not move abroad. And I understand that there are the move abroad as fast as you can camp of people and the don't move abroad camp of people. I have dealt with that for a long time. But she actually made a really interesting comment. She said that she returned back home because she recognized that she moved abroad because it was a trauma response. That was really interesting to me because am I moving abroad based on trauma? Yes, in part. I think there's probably a fair number of people that do move abroad for that reason. But I think there are three reasons why people move abroad. Yes, they may move abroad because of a trauma response. I think they just move abroad for adventure. Life is short. Why be in your same hometown in Mississippi your entire life if you can move to Dubai, right? Like, why not? And then three, I think that people move abroad because of a financial or a health requirement. So, a necessity. Let's talk about trauma first. No, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I feel like just living in the United States causes people with undue trauma, particularly for black males. Let's just talk about that. If you're a black male living in the US, you are born into trauma and you are living with trauma on a day to day basis. And if you can move to another country to escape that trauma, more power to you. Or if you were in an abusive relationship and you are scared that your abuser is about to get out of jail, so you move to Spain, more power to you. Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't think that moving due to a trauma response is necessarily a bad thing. Now, if you haven't dealt with the pain inside of you, yes, that's going to transfer. But it doesn't mean that you can't deal with it abroad. You can stay home and deal with it, or you can go abroad and deal with it. Yes, if you are a broken, damaged, depressed person, maybe moving abroad is not the best idea. Now, the second reason was adventure. I think it's just a huge adventure. You know, life is short. And particularly when you hit 60, you recognize your own mortality and you realize that life is finite, it's fleeting. And if you have the opportunity to live in a new country and experience something different and learn a new language and make new friends and eat new foods and just do different things, and you have the financial resources and you have the desire, like, why not fulfill that desire? I have a very good friend who always said that she always wanted to live a remarkable life. And she's a teacher. She lived in Belgium and she lived in the UK, and she just felt like life is worth living. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's make a remarkable life. And I think for those of us who never got married or who didn't have children or other goals that we had that we didn't meet, there's still this desire to do something interesting with our lives and something fulfilling with our lives. And often living in a foreign country can fulfill that. The third reason why I think people move abroad is because it's a necessity. I have heard about people that are suffering from like a chronic acne condition or some other sort of disease, chronic inflammation, and they move overseas and that disappears. It is widely known that many additives and preservatives that we have here in our food in the United States are banned in other countries. You hear about people all the time that have allergies or like sensitivity to gluten, and then they move to France and they can eat baguettes every day. Like, what is that about? So if you have a health condition and it can be improved by living in a foreign country, of course you're going to move to that country if you can. Another reason why I think people move abroad is out of financial necessity. It's very easy to get to Mexico or Thailand when you are nearly broke and end up thriving. But if you're trying to move to Portugal, for example, the requirements to get there are a lot higher. Actually, I think Mexico is a lot higher now too. I mean, there are certain countries where you can move with almost no money. I see it all the time on YouTube where people move to Thailand because the financial requirements are not that strict. And people move there that are nearly broke and lift themselves up, and start a business and become successful. And because you can live so cheaply, they're able to thrive. So, bringing it back around to me, why am I moving abroad? Is it a trauma response? Is it a financial necessity? Is it for adventure? Is it for a health issue? You know what? It's kind of all of those, to be honest. Have I experienced some trauma? Yes. Yes, I have. Is it for an adventure? Yes. Yes, it is. But you know what? This is not my first time living abroad. I have lived abroad in high school. My family moved to Nigeria and I went to a boarding school there. I lived in France for 6 months to study French, mais j'ai oublié tout mon français, so don't ask me anything in French. And I moved abroad to the Philippines. I lived there for 2 years and I taught at an international school. I lived in Ethiopia for 2 years and I taught in an international school. I lived in the Virgin Islands for a year. So I have lived abroad. I love living abroad. I love travel. Travel just lights me up. Again, like my friend said, I want to live a remarkable life. And I have the opportunity to do that. I'm going to do that. So, yes, adventure is another reason. Financially, let's talk about that. Yes, I mean, that too. Do I want to live in Europe? Absolutely. Do I have the means to live in Europe? Yes. But can I live as comfortably as I would in Asia? No, because in Asia, I can get a massage 3 times a week. In Asia, let's be specific, not everywhere in Asia. Thailand, I could get a massage 3 times a week. I could eat every single meal out. I just wouldn't have to worry at all. It is very inexpensive. I could live in Thailand for under $2,000 a month, and people do it for under $1,000 a month. But do I have the means to move to Portugal? Yes. Do I qualify for the visa? Yes. Can I live in Portugal? Yes. But can I get a two-bedroom apartment in the city center and get massages 3 days a week and eat every meal out? No. Do I want to do that? Kind of. It reminds me, I was with my sister once and we were in the grocery store and she said to me, "Isn't it great when you get to the time of your life when you can go shopping and just throw anything in the cart and you don't have to look at the price?" I was like, "I've never been at that point. I don't even know what you're talking about." Would I stay in the US if I were rich? Mm, that's a question mark. That's a question mark because I love New York City. So I could live in New York City, I think. If I were wealthy, I think I could manage New York City. But also, if you're wealthy, you can put things in place to make you feel safer. You don't have to eat the crap food in the grocery store. You can have a personal chef. You can have a relaxing life. You can get massages 3 days a week and you can travel the world and you can have a bodyguard. I mean, there are things that you can put into place to make you feel safer and more comfortable. Maybe I would live in San Diego and have a home by the ocean. That would be very peaceful. There's a lot of pluses. There's a lot of things I do enjoy about living in the US. However, the reality is I was a teacher and I've only ever had one income, my own income. And so my lifestyle was always predicated upon what I could afford. So I think it's a nice opportunity for me to be able to live in a country where I can afford whatever I want. And I'm looking forward to pampering myself. Let's be real. And then also in terms of the health requirements, I just think that a nervous system that's constantly in fight or flight from being anxious by being a classroom teacher in the US, you are in fight or flight either from behavioral problems from students or worrying about being shot. I mean, it's not a joke. And being black in America and just aging. And if I can age in a place where they celebrate people who are older and there are supports in place for people who are older, instead of living in a society where youth is celebrated and where you look, everyone wants to be 25 years old and look 25 years old, you know? So I loved it when I was in Vietnam and the ladies were on the beach doing their exercises in the morning. I'm going to join that group. I need to learn Vietnamese maybe first, but people move abroad for different reasons. And if you're moving abroad, what are your reasons? Talk to me. I'd love to know. Thanks for listening, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.